And we're going to talk about weed, talk about your life with the weed in Jamaica, a lot about Jamaica.
Right.
So we're going to rock. You ready? Ooh!
Right. Ooh.
Say that for the show. We about to get it started right now.
All right.
We be vibing and chiefin', vibing and chiefin'. We be vibing and chiefin', vibing and chiefin'. Pour up some drink.
FNBS Hateful J special
Coming in
K
hot.
with a special guest that just held up a nug the size of my forearm. Look at that,
Just
ladies
got
and
them
gentlemen.
all coming up.
He just bringing out buds. He got started, ladies and gentlemen. That's Paul Hartman with us today.
All right, this is gonna be nice. It's so comfortable when you're around just other people that smoke weed.
I'm
That's
talking
comforting
about
shit.
Mr. Omar's special,
Yeah, bro. You're a little skippy.
which
on the video,
cost
but it's all
me,
good.
let's see, Mr. Omar's cost me all this weed. All this weed cost me $7.
Get the fuck out
That's
of here.
crazy.
Get the fuck.
Just a handful.
This is the best way we've started the show in all
All
time.
right.
Yes.
I called up the ganja man, asked for a 20 spot. He said he's got me on 80 in 20 minutes, meet me at my spot. He's got different strands, take off.
There we go.
Oh,
Yeah, yeah.
is that better?
Yes.
Oh
it
my
is.
gosh, that's amazing.
Man.
Okay.
Can you hear me
Excellent.
now? Like perfect.
I'm not editing any of this either, so we good. But I do want to go back to what you said. You asked us about dabs, and you were saying something right after that about the quality in Jamaica and Canada and California.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's different here. You know, you're growing outside and you're dealing with much more intense scenarios in nature, more intense rainfall, more intense everything. But you know, in California, you don't deal with the humidity as much, so you can get really great maturity and ripeness in bud.
Yeah.
Here, it's more of a struggle, but you can harvest every month of the year because we're always in light depth here. It's basically never gets to be longer than 13 hours, 40 minutes or something of daylight in the summer. So on June 21st. So you put plants outside and they go into bloom, you know.
Yeah.
So and then strains that have been developed around here, you know, do different cycles, but the quality is different.
Is it good? Is the wild grown bud good? That's what I always wonder.
It is good, but where it lacks it's very hard to get it dry right here. And most people who grow don't have dehumidifiers and things like that, right?
Right.
So the guys who are good at it really have figured some tricks out, you know, and it grows everywhere. I mean, it's pretty much impossible to grow seedless weed outside here because, you know, people stand around and roll a joint and they drop seeds on the ground and they grow.
Yeah.
Right?
That's crazy.
That's
You don't have
dope.
to try to get shit
That's
to grow
like the
here.
Willy Wonka of weed to me.
Yeah, it's always the perfect temperature here. Like it's you know, like 85 degrees today, right? And it never really gets above 95. You know, like that's crazy hot here. And Jamaicans, they freak out when it's that hot, right?
Yeah. That's
so
crazy because it's been damn near 100 degrees every day here, bro.
Yeah, like it's hotter up there than it is down here, which is really unusual. But we have a strong, you know, we have the trade winds that blow across the island, and we're surrounded by water. And
It just sounds so sexy,
That does
man.
sound nice. That
sounds
sounds so nice.
sexy as shit. I'm jealous.
It's like one of those like things painting a picture in your head. Like that's nice.
oh, dude, and of course, then there's Jamaican girls.
Don't you do that. Don't you start that.
Heaven forbid.
I don't even, like. This is like a fairy. This all sounds like a fairy tale. Like it's reading out of a book to me.
Yeah, man. It was like,
Think about it. 65. I have two 23-year-old girlfriends.
hell yeah. Hey, I wish I could high five you through this goddamn laptop, man. That's amazing.
Right?
I'm
Fist
so-
bump.
I'm so proud of you, Paul. I'm so proud of you, man. Look at this. But no, I was
I'm
gonna
pretty
ask.
proud of me too. I'm kind of amazed. Like I'm not sure it's really me.
I can see why you smoke a lot of weed. Just enjoying it. Like this is still fucking great.
He
Like
said-
this
he
is
said he
still
feel-
great.
He said he feel like it's not really him. That's pretty dope. But Paul, we got a lot of questions for you, dog.
Okay.
I'm gonna let Special K go with his.
Nah, dude, they're just fun. It's like this is basically. I was just thinking of things I talk about with people when I smoke weed with them for like the first time. That's how this
Yeah.
kind of is.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, what do? You talk about philosophy, life, food, diet, chicks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, but
Poppers.
my first question was, what's your like when in Jamaica, like for foods, if you get the munchies, what's the go-to thing? Like you can't go wrong.
Oh man, there's this jerk chicken shack down the hill from
I
us
told you it was gonna be something jerk. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
called the Jerk Syndicate.
Get the fuck out of here. That sounded
Yeah,
important
and I'll tell
Alright.
you, there's this big woman there named Minky, and she is badass, man. She makes, of course, they make goat head soup here, and they call it Manish water. They
Yeah.
only eat the male goat.
Wow.
So whenever you eat goat, you're eating the man goat.
Why is
not-
that? Why they only? Is that some? Is that
like
Is that
sacred?
spiritual shit?
Well, no, it's because you only need one male goat,
Real shit. Yeah.
and they
yeah.
make
Right.
a lot of male goats. So
Using that logic, winning
Yeah,
by
that-
logic.
That's
Yeah.
just common sense move right there. Okay.
yeah, and I actually smoke weed from the goat assassin, the guy who kills your goat for you.
Yeah.
Throws some good herbs. So I've been smoking his herb, Mr. Omar.
Can you
And-
smoke in these like places just real quick? Like, are you allowed smoking while you eat? Is that a thing?
Well, what?
Like, say you're like in a like just a restaurant or something or a fast food type area. Can you smoke inside places?
Oh fuck yeah, man! Like
That's crazy.
They have smoking sections for people who smoke weed.
So it's just
Like,
a giant
even at
hot box with everybody in a
Margaritaville-
corner.
Even at Jimmy Buffett's Margaritaville, the most tourist frickin' place,
Yeah.
you can smoke in the lounge bar area on their sand,
Man,
right?
Get the fuck out of
That's
here.
dope as fuck.
You can walk around on the street smoking joints. I sat with the chief of police at our CEO's birthday party and smoked a joint and talked to him for an hour,
That is
Yeah,
awesome.
that's unreal, bro. That's
and he's like totally cool. Like it is so normal here,
Yeah.
right? Like weed is normal. Kids don't even freak out. Like we sponsored a girl in a beauty pageant at a high school.
Yeah.
Castle Black Cannabis was her sponsor. And they said that in the auditorium. Man, that wouldn't happen in America.
Right, not at all.
Not even
Fuck
close.
no.
Not even in the legal states that's going down. No way. All right, so I ain't trying to cut you off, Special K, but I'm curious, since everybody can smoke bud and it's everywhere, is there a cigarette problem? Is there a big nicotine problem in Jamaica?
I bet people smoke less
No,
cigarettes.
there isn't. But people do smoke what they call graba, right? Which is the tobacco leaf. And it grows everywhere wild. There's wild tobacco growing everywhere, right?
Damn.
So
boy.
people dry it. It's 100% organic, and some people mix it, or some even roll it in the leaf, right?
Yeah.
This sounds so
But
intriguing.
that's it. You don't see people smoking cigarettes, do you?
No.
No, they're not
Yeah.
into it.
That's all like, as far only thing about the culture I know is from what I've seen on TV, whether it's a movie or a documentary, and I don't recall ever seeing nobody smoke a cigarette.
You know what?
Yeah.
I hadn't really thought about it, but you're totally right, man. And I'm not even in Kingston do you see people smoking.
Yeah,
But
Kingston is
I'll
like
tell
the
you, when I
city,
first
right?
got here, it was pretty incredible. Like there was 50 people on the job here building the castle and the laboratory and all that stuff. And every day, half of them, half the men, half of the women would walk around all day with a giant fucking spleef hanging out of their mouth, right?
Yeah.
And I was like, this is so freaking cool. Like,
That's all they like. This is cool as fuck.
we're smoking weed and building a weed farm, and you're just going, this is so crazy, right? And then,
Yeah,
of course, the CLA, the Cannabis Legalization Authority, shows up one day, and they're like, we can't have that. We're like, what?
That's a little
And
much.
so now everybody, when they take their break, they go out on the street in front of the castle and they smoke their joints out there, and then they come back in.
That's dope. Bro, this,
Yeah,
shit, it
Just
don't,
this joint
this
break.
don't
That sounds
even
amazing to
sound
me.
real, dog. Real shit.
Yeah, I
Just
know.
gotta look
It
at that
doesn't
shit.
sound real, does it?
No, I don't, dude.
Is everyone just generally more humble?
Oh, totally. You know, the people here are so genuine, especially when you get up in the hills. You know, it's, you know, they only make $25 a day, and they work really fucking hard. I mean,
Yeah.
it is like the holes these people had to dig. I mean, this place didn't have any dirt, right? It was three kinds of clay because we're on a
Oh, wow.
mountaintop, and all the mountaintops are like that here, right?
Yeah.
So they had to. I tried to dig a hole.
Yeah, this is so crazy.
And I swear to God, man, it was the funniest fucking thing. And they were looking at me like, God, is he out of his mind or what? You know,
Hey.
you know
Yeah,
so
no
I
shit.
get about 10 inches down, and I'm like, fuck this.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
That's a different
And
process.
they go at it like jackhammers and rip out a hole out of the ground. And you go, wow.
Well, holy
that's
shit.
crazy.
It's like a kid watching a pool get built.
Yeah. I mean, it's pretty much fucking like clay. It's pretty much like cement at that point. Like,
When it dries out, it's like rock. you
yeah,
know?
yeah. You don't even know it's clay till you get that shit wet half the time. You know what I mean?
All right, I got another one for you. Back to food real quick. Is there anything you miss from the States where you're like, oh, they don't have that here, but that was fucking amazing when I'd smoke?
I do miss North American weed because North American, you know, like California weed's the fucking best. You know, I don't care what anybody says. It's hard to beat what happens there.
Yeah.
There.
And that's where my roots in cannabis are all in California. So, and what I'm trying to do here is create that same quality here. I mean, when you go to dispensaries and you look at cannabis here, it's pretty disappointing.
Yeah.
I mean, even Kaya, the Marley family name all over it. They got a Marley coffee shop in there. They've got
That's pretty
Marley vapor pens and stuff like that, which
That's
are
dope.
real great.
cool. Yeah.
But so I go to the counter, and the first jar I open up a weed smelled like powdery mildew.
Oh.
Like, what the fuck? You know, like, this
That's
is like,
jeez.
don't they care, or what's the deal, right?
Yeah.
And so, you know, it's like really hard to grow weed here, right? It's not an easy place. It's the tropics. Everything's alive. Everything wants to eat the plant.
Yeah.
You know, and unless you're in the right spot, the western part of the island always produces better because it's drier and more arid and things like that. We're right in the center of the island, so we're kind of in the middle of the wet spot. Although our particular area has a unique microclimate, so that during the wettest part of the year, storms split and they often miss us. So we have a unique dry cycle.
Yeah.
And
That's
it's
still gotta be
different
a
all
bitch,
over the
though.
island.
All right.
That's still got to be a bitch to like just deal with that and try to get a nice crop out at the same time.
I feel like you'd have to do it if it's all
You gotta
indoors.
pay attention really a lot. I've grown in the tropics before. I grew in Mexico and in the 70s and 80s. And, you know, it's easier in Mexico in lots of ways because it is drier and more arid. And Mexicans in general are really good farmers.
Yeah. Agriculturally sound.
Farming here is really done differently. Like, nobody here makes holes and prepares dirt. Nobody understands that, right? And there's a lot of misconceptions about how you grow cannabis here, and they've created folk traditions in relationship to how they do it. Like there's the Ganja Growers Association here, which is pretty much all Rastafarian.
GG.
And they have a prescribed method which they say creates the name ganja. And Jamaica actually, I think, has it trademarked.
Wow.
Is
Ganja.
actually their legitimate name.
That's dope.
That's pretty
Yeah.
neat. It's pretty neat.
I wonder how many people don't fucking know that. All right, Paul, can I ask a question, man? I kind of want to get to like your roots? Like how did all this start? If I could ask, like how did you first get into it? Like did you grow up in it? And
What happened was I was in LA. My parents moved to California when I was 5.
yeah,
We were living in Westchester, right next to the LA airport.
yeah,
Yeah, or actually, we moved to Anaheim first. We lived a mile from Disneyland. We lived there for a couple of years. Then we moved to Westchester. And when I was 13, my brother Phil came to me, and him and my oldest brother, it was the 60s, 1966.
This is gonna be an awesome story.
And they were worried that I would get into hard drugs, right?
yeah,
So, and because it was easier to get pills and speed and Benzedrine and you name it, right, than it was to get weed at that time.
yeah,
And so Phil came to me and he gives me a joint and he says, Paul, he said, alcohol is for people who don't care and don't care to think.
mm.
And he goes, this is for people who care and care to think.
Mm-hmm.
Smart.
That's a hell of a way to put it. I don't think anybody's ever got it presented to them like that. That's dope.
And trying to extrapolate it out into a lifetime of being sober.
Yeah,
That's pretty awesome.
that's pretty dope. All right, so what? Like I don't want to ask the wrong questions, but and I know you got some other stuff coming up, so I just stay away from that. You know what I mean? But if situations were different, would you ever come back to the States and like get your Cali grow on?
Oh, fuck yeah, man. I miss my farm. My wife still lives on our farm in California, and to me, it's the most perfect place in the world to grow weed. Hard to beat 12% humidity in the fall.
Yeah.
It's up at 3,200 feet, and I've got 16 springs on 139 acres. I've got all the water I want, 50 gallons a minute.
It sounds amazing.
It's a beautiful spot. I can see the lights of Newport Beach from the top of my property.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, I bet you're missing that shit. Yeah.
it's a gorgeous spot for Southern California. It's hard to beat it. I got Palm Springs is 45 minutes away,
Yeah.
and I'm in the mountains on the west side of the mountains, kind of above Palm Desert and Palm Springs, in a place called Wonga.
Yeah. Jeez,
That sounds so nice.
But it seems like you like traded paradise for another paradise.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I understand the downfalls of it, of course. You know what I mean?
And I was in Canada since 2005, so I hadn't been any place really warm in a while. I got here last December, the day before my birthday, and so I turned 65 here, and I knew after 3 days that I was going to die here.
Yeah. Yeah.
You're like, I accept this is nice. Like, I can take this.
Yeah.
I looked at Errol Flynn and his story in relationship to Jamaica, and he showed up here in a storm, running from a storm with his boat, and Port Antonio. And his quote is, and he said this about Port Antonio. He said, Port Antonio is the most beautiful woman I've ever met.
That's dope.
Extrapolated that out to the whole island. I mean, Jamaica is a stunning place.
Yeah.
And there is nothing more beautiful than the smile of a Jamaican girl.
You got two of them, Paul.
Well, I'm about to Google Jamaican girls to see the how good these things are.
I got myself in trouble on Facebook. We take cabs a lot here, and one of the cab drivers is kind of a school bus, right? He picks kids up and brings them up the mountain, takes them down the mountain. And one day I'm in the cab with 9 little girls, and they're all staring at me and giggling and stuff. And I was just like, oh my God, I just love Jamaican kids. I want 50 of them.
Yeah.
So
they look so happy.
I love Jamaican kids. I want 50 of them, and maybe I'll even make a couple.
Yeah.
Yeah. It got really weird.
Oh my God. People get weird about everything though. Ain't nothing
It's
weird
all
about
the take
that.
things.
About
Shit,
being
like
here.
a bunch of kids in America
The
probably
nicest
try to
thing
throw
is
shit at you.
that when you leave North America, it doesn't exist anymore.
Yeah.
Like you don't see anything about Trump here. You don't see anything about anything North America. It's like
It's been
it doesn't
deleted
exist
from the
when
whole
you go.
world.
The pressure is all off. You're just like, and after a month, you're on Jamaican time and you're right in pace with what's going on, and it's a different life, man. You slow down to a human pace.
I'm sold.
All right.
I'm sold. I got other questions, but I'm gonna let Special K get at you. I know you had more, bro.
Oh no, yeah, I got a few more.
Go ahead. Go ahead. I'm curious. I'm curious about a few other things. Go ahead, bro.
What are some? Are there any like fun, like awkward high activities around you, like that you don't ever do? Something you don't do in the States, but you can go and do, like in Jamaica. I don't know how to explain
Some shit
it.
we don't know about.
Yeah, like something. I don't want to say like an activity or just something to do, a place to go that's like not normal here.
They probably still play. They probably still play hacky sack out there, don't they?
Jamaica is the land of love. You know, it's
Yeah.
like sex and weed and music. Like music is a constant everywhere. Like I'm surprised we're not hearing music coming through the hills right now because there's zillions of these tiny little bars. Every town has 10 of them. You know, and
Oh yeah, it's different. Yeah, that's totally different.
you can get, you know, like weed is freaking everywhere. You know, it is just mind-boggling, and it's everybody is in a positive, party-positive mood. You know, and for the most part,
That sounds so fun.
There's always some asshole who'll do something fucked up and crazy, and
Right.
you know, but
You'll never escape that.
Yeah, ever.
And no different in Jamaica, and sure the white guy's a target, but you know, if you pay attention and you're courteous and polite and genuine to everybody, then like here the community protects us, right? Because we've changed everybody's lives here on the mountain, right? We brought
awesome.
industry to a place where there was zero.
Yeah.
And so it's pretty neat the relationship we have with our crew in the neighborhood, and you know, like we go.
Everyone loves the weed person.
It's totally safe. You know, it's a cool fucking place.
Everyone loves the weed father.
Yeah, like no one hates the person that gets the weed. That's like, that guy, he gets the weed.
Word to that.
But I got some weed myths and shit too. But I'm gonna ask you, what's your favorite strain, bro?
My favorite strain is a strain that made me famous in California.
Oh shit, what's that?
And two strains made me famous.
All right, first, are they still in circulation before?
The only one that's in circulation is SK1, but the other one was a plant called Hash Plant Number 6 from the Sacred Sativa Seed Club in Holland.
What?
That company was sold to the Sensi Seed Bank, and then the strain vanished. Got it as a clone, and I kept it for 15 years.
Yeah.
This shit, and I'll tell you a really fascinating story. You know the group Canned Heat?
Amazing.
The group what? Say again?
The blues band Canned Heat?
Canned Heat?
Oh no, not sure.
Heat going up the country. They were from the 60s. And a huge blues band, right?
I'm going to check them out.
They still tour. Although there's only 2 original members alive still, but the bass player, Larry Taylor, was a weed dealer in Hollywood, and all my weed went into Hollywood.
Yeah.
And there was jokes about me. Like my weed was the first rock star weed, right?
Hell yeah.
And people would
Rockstar weed.
The joke was that if I had a bad year, there would be shitty music for 3 years and bad movies for 2.
Right. That's dope.
Because so many of the big studio guys and musicians were smoking my shit, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And so Larry, you know, he knew that we were trying to save this strain, and nobody had any seeds for it. And we were crossing it to things, trying to figure out. And it turned out it was a probably 4-way hybrid. And we were like, holy fuck, we didn't have the space or the time to deal with it, right? So Larry goes over to the High Times Cannabis Cup in Holland. and he takes a half a pound of my hash plant number 6, and he goes in and he breaks it out. And one of the judges, like he said, the gasp when people saw it was like, they were like, "Oh my God, it's hash plant number 6." They like called it out, right?
Yeah, it's
And
like the
he's
Holy
like,
Grail.
Holy shit, right? And they said if this was entered in the cup, it would win tonight.
What was
And
it? Was
and
it?
was
Was
like,
it a
was
sativa? You
incredible.
said?
He was trying to find the seeds for it, and nobody said no. It's been missing for 2 decades now, and then SK1 was one of those things that in Southern California, where my farm is, I could ripen it to such a stage that the calyx were just so overdeveloped, and when it cured, it got this chocolate coffee thing to it that was a spice. And so my friends in Mendocino and Humboldt would call me up, and Scott Zarambi, who has Dirt Cheap Landscaping in Fort Bragg, California, he's one of the best soil makers in the world. He designed soil for Botanicare and companies like that.
Yeah.
He would call me up and he would go, "Do you have the desert spice?"
That's dope. That's fucking
You
dope.
got the stuff?
I got
he-
the stuff.
The spice controls the universe.
Yeah.
And I'm like, "Oh shit, he's quoting Dune now, right?"
Yeah.
And I go, "What the hell are you talking about, man?" He goes, "The SK1. Do you have any SK1?" And I said, "Oh yeah, sure,
Like,
I
of
go,
course,
"Desert spice." I go, "I like that." So my SK1 was epic. People loved it. And I grew a lot of the classics there. I would grow hazes, although it was really hard to get them to finish right. Like they would often go into December.
Bro, I miss hazes. I haven't seen a haze come around in I don't know the last time, bro. Like all any of them. Purple haze.
It's also standardized. It's like the same thing that happened with Blue Dream. Blue Dream came out, and then everybody crossed it to everything, and now it's hard to find pure Blue Dream.
Yeah, man. It's kind of bad like that, bro. Like,
Yeah.
and I
A
say
lot
the
of what
past.
I'm trying to do is like one of the things I'm planning for here is tasting, right? We have 68 OG Kushes.
Damn.
I want to create the full expression of an experience with cannabis,
I
So
want to be there.
so how do you do that, right? So all right, so we have like you go to a microbrewery and you get 8 different beers, right?
Like the
Right,
beer
so
board
let's
says
taste 8
taste them.
different OG Kushes. Let's have a live rosin press. Let's have some shatter. Let's have a little distillant. Let's have an
This is
edible
a weed
from it.
restaurant. You're
Yeah.
talking about
Let's have the experience,
Yeah, bro.
And so those are the kind of things we're going to create at our dispensaries here, right? We're going to create an experience that, first of all, nobody here has ever seen indoor,
Yeah.
right? And
That's
when they
insane,
see
bro.
indoor, they are going to shit bricks.
Shit,
Show
yeah.
them the
People
light.
from North America expect that quality.
But they
right?
do like people there still see the magazine and shit and TV shit, right? Or is that not even a thing?
You know what? You don't see that shit here.
They don't have they don't have that media exposure to the North
No, they
American?
don't. It's totally different.
Damn. So it's gonna be like seeing, like literally for the
It's
first
like
time.
the Holy Grail,
I
like
can't
just
even
like
imagine it.
glowing shit. Like, oh
Yeah,
shit.
bro. Like it's gonna make a sound when you open the bag.
Yeah. When people look at it under a loop and they see what trichomes can really be like,
Yeah.
you grow stuff outside and it rains hard, that beats those trichomes right off the plant.
Yep. And as you said, there's a lot of shit that eats on the plant too.
You can get a good return on oil, and that's primarily what we do. Is we're a crude oil maker for people who make pharmaceuticals, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the quality of the crude oil we get here is exceptional. So it's great for medical purposes.
So can you guys like get you asked us about dabs when we first called you. Is there wax down there? Is there any dab wax? Anything like that?
There is. Kaya has a dab bar, the Marley location. Not the best. I was pretty disappointed. It was more like a half a dab for $20. And then they didn't have the nail hot enough and things like that. So just basic in experience. You know, we're going to provide a North American quality experience in Jamaica, right? With sun-grown organic weed and organic indoor, extracted in the methods, in several different methods. We'll do a full alcohol wash. We'll have CO2 extraction, and we'll have BHO.
I'm so happy for the people in Jamaica right now.
Right?
Like,
They're about to get that experience that I feel like a high person loves.
and the fact that it's already so legal.
That, you know, not so many Jamaicans go to these places, right? Because you can get weed so cheap on the street here. Why would you go to a dispensary? It's more about tourism for these places, right? Mm-hmm. The tourists come here, and it's a big deal. Like they want weed, they want to have the full Jamaican experience, and they've made it as easy as they can for them to get it now. Yeah. And they can go to, and these places are about the environment. You know, they create a very nice presentation. These places are stylish and comfortable and air conditioned and have food and booze. So you can mix here, right? You can have food, booze, whatever you want. Mushrooms aren't even illegal here, right?
Nice.
So you can eat mushrooms, do whatever the hell you want, right?
Is that common? Is that like a thing you see just naturally, people on shrooms every day?
No, but they can grow everywhere.
They grow everywhere?
Everywhere.
Oh,
you see a cow, you just stop on the road and go out and walk in a cow field, and they're growing there.
Damn.
It never stops here. It's like everything is in a constant motion of grow because the temperature doesn't fluctuate more than 10 degrees.
Shit's mind-blowing to me, man.
Well, if you think about a place where weed just grows everywhere and everyone's just really nice and humble and does everything, like that just sounds nice. This all just sounds like a nice place.
Yeah,
it is. It's third world. You know, you're the minority for the most part. You know, so it's you're just respectful and kind and courteous and put out good vibes and people liked it. You know, I feel very well integrated into this community for sure.
Yeah. Hell yeah, bro. Sound like it.
Is the clothes there, like, is everyone much more, like, comfortable stuff? Like, I feel like people in North America kind of, like, dress to be, like, uncomfortable in a way, just to look good, where I feel like in Jamaica, everyone would dress, like, super comfortable.
Well, they do. Like, I hardly ever don't wear shorts, and because the temperature is like it's the same temperature at night as it is in the morning, and I mean it's constant. In the winter, it does cool down a bit here on the mountain for sure. Yeah. But not to the point where like you're cold. That's one of the things too. Like when I got here, I lost 35 pounds because I wasn't having to eat to stay warm.
Yeah.
And like your body just goes, well, I guess I don't need to eat so much. And then what you do eat here is pretty fresh and local, right? So you're getting a nutrient level out of the fruits and vegetables here that are different. And then the level of oxygen, like I'm surrounded by jungle. I got here, I stood here, I looked at the jungle and I could taste the air.
Yeah, that's dope. That's fucking dope. This is gonna sound real, man.
This is fresh.
What about the bugs, man? Y'all got big ass bugs and shit? Because I don't like bugs.
Oh, there's all kinds of bugs. Like I've got a microscope. I've been taking pictures of bugs. The bugs are awesome. There's you know,
they're not awesome.
Rhinoceros beetles.
They're terrifying, man. They scare me. I'm a grown ass man. I ain't scared to be scared of some. If it flies and if the flying ones get me, anything
like
else.
Spiders.
And you know what? There's no poisonous snakes.
That's dope.
That's a good thing.
There is one poisonous insect, a centipede, but it won't kill you.
Word?
And that's pretty much it. They have the English brought the mongoose here, which killed all the snakes and a lot of the birds.
Go mongoose!
The mongoose are everywhere. I want to eat some of the little fuckers.
Hey,
I know what a mongoose looks like.
What did you say you ate? Ain't a mongoose like kind of ferret looking?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I think I've seen one.
String them
Hey, bro,
up
I've seen one fight a snake.
Barbecue.
Hey, they don't
feel
fuck
like
around.
chicken wings.
Do people be eating mongooses?
I haven't yet, but I keep telling people I want to eat one, and they look at me weird.
Hey, bro, if you eat some jerk mongoose, you see some jerk
Then
mongoose. I
other
need a
people
picture
say,
of jerk
"Let's go
mongoose.
get them some."
Some jerk mongoose stew, dog.
Jerk mongoose. Yeah.
Jerk goose.
So no big ass mosquitoes.
No, the mosquitoes are really tiny and they're vicious.
Oh,
They're so
shit.
bad.
That
But-
might even be scarier.
Yeah,
I don't know,
it's a-
now you're saying it like that.
You can't see the enemy.
Yeah,
That's a little
I
threatening,
mean,
bro.
here on the mountain, we have a constant breeze, so we really don't have them, right? Where
Yeah.
you get them is down in the low spots that are a little bit inland. As soon as you get to the beach, no mosquitoes. As soon as you get to the mountaintop, no mosquitoes.
That's dope. That's dope, man. Like,
All right, no, that's awesome.
Kurt,
Lots
you got
of
something?
bats,
A
25
few
times
more
bats.
cues.
Yeah, go ahead.
I got, well, how like is there still like I'm not exactly sure how things work in Jamaica because the way you're sounding it like sounds like a just Cloud9 to me.
Yeah.
Do you have TV and stuff there? Like, is there anything like you watch like on TV like when smoking or anything like that?
Yeah, because we big film
Yeah,
junkies, man.
you can get cable and stuff like that. Like we have, obviously, we have internet. We just ran fiber optic all the way up to the castle because we have so many security cameras that the CLA monitors with, right?
Yeah.
So we have like fiber optic up here on the mountaintop.
That's crazy.
So
That's
is there,
awesome.
is there so like is Netflix and shit like that popular? We big movie heads and shit, so we
You
gotta
know
ask
what?
those.
I pretty much just watch YouTube shit. Like
YouTube is
I'm
great.
You know what my favorite thing is travel vlogs and food blogs. Like,
I've been seeing some of the
I
food
like
vlogs.
Food
You're a true stoner.
Ranger,
That is true
and
stoner
I like
shit.
Mark Wien's migrationology.
Yeah.
Those are the two things I watch.
No, YouTube is like if you're on the internet and you've been like with YouTube for a while and you realize like, hey, they actually got some great shit. Like
Yeah.
They do.
How many times do you
it's
watch
perfect
that
high
shit?
place.
Like you live in Jamaica, like Kay said, all the shit sounds like Cloud9. So how many times do you watch a travel show and be like, oh yeah, we got that here too? like, you know what I'm saying? Like, oh
Well,
yeah, I
yeah,
did that
that's-
yesterday.
The
Oh,
other thing is the Chinese are here big time, right?
oh yeah,
like,
why? What is that about?
Jamaica owes China $3 trillion.
Damn.
It's quite.
And the
So are
Chinese
they there
are
in, like, force?
remaking all the roads on the island.
Wow.
And so it used to take an hour and a half to get from Kingston to Mo Bay, right? Now you can do it in 30
people know
minutes.
this?
So, that kind of stuff is good. Interesting thing about Jamaica, and a lot of people don't know this about its history. It was the first country in the Caribbean to have electricity. It was the first country in the Caribbean to have a railroad. It was the first country in the Caribbean to have phone service.
Alright.
Also,
Jamaica's
public
doing big
water.
things.
Like that's incredible, right? Like,
Yeah.
and
We're not
that's
taught
the-
this at all. I feel like growing up.
Yeah, you hear about none of this shit. You hear
Yeah.
about none of this. Like
You actually, I feel like it taught like Jamaica's kind of a bad place.
Yeah,
because
for
they
real,
also relate it to weed even being bad too. So like that's a terrible
but
place.
that's how everything's portrayed. Like they don't want you to know that you can have a little paradise without all the American bullshit that they feed you.
Right?
It's like,
Yeah.
oh, you
Weed
can't
growing
go
on
to
the
an
floor.
island and just be happy. You need.
Yeah, it's different here. I mean, people, in a culture of haves and have-nots, it's always difficult, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Like
It's definitely struggle.
people assume that you're white and you have money, right? And yes, sir. Come back in a little bit. I'm in a conversation. One of my workers coming to bum a joint.
Hell yeah. That'd be me too, Paul.
All right.
Like, hey, Paul, it's lunch break, nigga. Let me get one. What? Interview. Let me talk to him.
Oh, you giving Jay a joint?
So-
Let me get
No,
one.
I'm gonna roll another one.
Hell yeah, bro. But my bad. Go ahead, man. What was you saying? Sorry.
Yeah, so it's it's a different thing for sure, and yeah, there's a lot of negative press about here, and I'm sure it's like tourism motivated, like cruise ships stop here all day long, every day, every port, and people get off and they have a great time. But the hotel industry has suffered here a lot because of all that.
Yeah.
There's tons of hotels that just are empty, So you can get really good deals on rooms and stuff and food and all inclusive stuff,
Are
It's-
there some tourism rules you can give though? Because you know every place got its place, man. So like,
yeah, on those food vlogs, they always
so-
give those tourism rules. Like,
Yeah,
is there
like-
anything with Jamaica?
like so, there are places like you shouldn't go when you go to Jamaica. Is there things to watch out for? You know what I mean?
Well, yeah, you definitely got to pay attention when you're in any small town. You don't want to flash money. You don't want to be flashy and wear a lot of jewelry and stuff.
Yep.
You just
obviously.
want to be low key and pay attention. Like be conscious of who's behind you.
Yeah.
In the bigger places like Mo Bay and those places, it is a little dangerous because of gang activity.
Right.
And so and here we're always with a local. We use drivers a lot. Like I don't drive at all here. And it's cheap, a guy is $25 a day. You think about that in terms of what it means on labor costs and any kind of business. It's pretty amazing,
Yeah, that's fucking insane.
And people got skills, like when people see what the castle looks like and they realize that this 5-story monster was built by a bucket brigade,
Yeah.
they freak out. They go, now, wait a minute, like, are you serious? Like buckets of cement?
Yeah, like by hand shit. Like,
yeah, like they're
those
about
two
to
little,
pour
like
the
two-
floor or the roof in one of the lab buildings, a 3-story lab building. And they will hoist every bucket of cement up a rope to another person who will hand it off 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 to and
It's
then
like a
they'll dump
pyramid.
that bucket.
yeah, I was just
Right?
thinking. Bro.
I mean, it's like you go, they built this whole thing like that? And the guy goes, yep. You go, holy shit.
That's beast.
And then when you see him do it, it's like ballet, man. It's so fucking poetic. You go, wow, that is so cool.
Yeah, bro. That's crazy you said that, because you were saying that Special K was just like, it's kind of like a pyramid. And I'm thinking it. And I got these weed myths that I'm doing later. And I'm going to give, like, the first one now is weed helped build the pyramids.
I'm saying yes.
I like how it all came to that.
Yeah,
But that's,
I'd say that's probably accurate. It's one
Yeah.
of the ways you can work a long day in the sun. There
Yeah.
they were probably smoking hash, though, right?
yeah, hold on. Let me since we stopped on it, let me get the first one out. One little facts. I'm gonna give a few facts. What it says here. We got blah 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 blah. Egyptians employ versatile hemp plant for a number of goods like textiles, rope. You know what I mean? So you gotta think.
Yeah.
What are they
weed and
using
that
with
whole
the
thing.
rest of that shit?
Yeah.
Is being
It's
smoked.
almost unlimited, man.
Like it was just there, bro. I'm pretty sure it's Egypt, and like hot as fuck. I'm pretty sure it could grow wild there too. You know what I mean?
Sure, yeah. It started in Asia and spread out through all those places,
Yeah.
Talking
Fucking
about weed always makes me want to smoke it again.
the
like, over and over
weed,
again.
man. Like I've had a smile on my face this whole time. FNBS
So
podcast. Hateful J, Special
what's
K.
happening where you
Paul's
guys
here.
are? What stage of legalization or medical use are you guys in?
Nowhere.
Ouch.
Bro, we are okay. If you get caught with it, it might be a ticket unless you got a whole bunch of it individually bagged. It's not legal, nowhere near legal. We're in Kentucky, bro, and
We've lightened up.
we do smoke on air and shit, and we've been doing it for like 2 years. Ain't nobody saying nothing, but we still know, like, all right, whatever.
I did a huge grow in Colorado with some guys from Kentucky who were tobacco growers.
Oh yeah, they're here.
Oh yeah, we can evidently grow the fuck out of
Tobacco and bourbon are Kentucky's mainstays. And
Hey, what about that fire at the factory? I heard about that.
Oh yeah, the Jim Beam shit.
Yeah, that's fucked
Yeah,
up.
bro. I'm trying to remember. My girl will know. I think it was like 15,000 barrels of bourbon burned or something like that.
That's
It
crazy.
It was
the
a-
most
bro, it was a
horrible-looking
shitload.
picture I've ever seen. What a waste of booze.
They said the smell was insane. They said the
I can
smell coming
only
out that shit.
imagine.
Bro.
People were
I hate
running
bourbon.
up to roast shit.
I hate bourbon, bro. Like I can't drink that shit.
Like, quick, kill something and toss it on the pile.
Yeah, like, hey, let's
Ugh.
marinate that shit. Hurry up and use this.
I'll be perfect for the mongoose there.
Yeah, hell yeah, you can make your mongoose, Paul. Good job, Special K. All
Yeah, you got
ideas,
mongoose?
Oh, we ain't got no mongoose. Hey, we'll get you some mongoose, Paul. I promise, man. We gonna, you know what I'm saying? But
I'm
no,
going to open a mongoose stand.
Hey, bro, listen, if we can ever come visit, man, we'll talk after the show, but I would love to come visit. You know what I mean?
Shit, yeah, come do a podcast from here or something.
Oh,
from
don't
the-
say that. Don't say that, because I'm type motherfucker get just up enough money just to get there and figure the rest out. You know what I mean?
You know what? It's so cheap to get here. From Canada to here, round trip is $600.
That ain't
From
bad.
where you are, it's probably $400 round trip.
That ain't bad at all.
Yeah,
That
I
ain't
would
bad.
do that.
But to
And
answer
then
this, my bad.
Staying in places is cheap. Go on Airbnb. You can get you can see every level of payment there. It's all different. You know?
When we go in Jamaica, special K.
We would have to
We
do
don't-
it like or instant video too, like
We
instant
gotta do that
reaction.
shit in
So
we
like
do that shit in the wintertime. We
our
don't
whole
come-
thoughts
Yeah,
on
you guys
Jamaica.
should come in the fall for sure. Sometime in the fall, like
Yeah, wait till it's
you know,
cold here.
October,
Get
away
November,
from that
shit.
December is awesome.
Hell yeah, bro. What about November? Well, how's November?
I need to get
all that's good. It's
all
all
of it.
good.
But no, to answer the rest of your question, we are. Go ahead. No, you had something.
No, I had to get the passport. That's what I was thinking in my head.
Oh, I ain't got
Yeah.
one either.
Yeah, I gotta get a
Passport.
passport.
I don't want to do that for some reason. I feel like you do that and they got you. But anyway, we are like 10 minutes away from Cincinnati, Ohio, who has just decriminalized it only in Cincinnati, up to 100 grams, and it is medically legal. And is that it?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Where if you fly into Cincinnati, or that part of Kentucky that you fly into? That's
Yeah.
weird. Anybody that ever flies in here.
yeah, so it's big bourbon, it's Commonwealth, man. They like what they're doing. It's not. I feel like we're closer than we think to getting some legalization going,
Yeah.
but it ain't being talked about right now.
Yeah, they keep it on the hush.
The home grow scene must be awesome in Kentucky, huh?
It's
There has been any
we,
problems with
we,
any kind of
we
weed.
get some very delicious things here.
We're
Just,
gonna-
I
Have it-
bet because it's so, it's such a unique microclimate, most of the state, you know?
Yeah, bro.
Yeah.
The whole tri-state is fucking retarded.
There's a lot of shit going around. Like
It's weird. It's weird, but it's
it's weird in a good way.
our best year here when it comes to weed was like 2005 and like 2015, and that's in my recollection.
Huh.
I mean, you were seeing shit that
I
was,
feel like it's progressively just keeps getting better to me.
yeah. It's I don't know. It's wavy, but it's good right now. It's been good, but
So is it coming on the ballot or what?
ain't being talked about. Not that I know of.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't follow it too much, but
So do people really like Jeff Sessions?
Bro, I couldn't tell you. I try
I
to stay.
know,
I try
yeah.
to stay as far away from politics as I can for like the past 10 years.
we're in an
Yeah.
area of Kentucky where no one talks about anything too much. Everyone kind of just keeps their self.
Well, no, you got a lot of the normal Trump supporters, and everybody wants to be conservative and shit, but nobody's really about shit. Not in this
Yeah.
state. You know what I mean? Then Cincinnati's more like the super conservative state where everybody's like, it's a
I'll
big
tell you,
city, but everybody's still like
Before
to
I
their
came
own shit.
here, I was
Yeah.
ready to kill myself because of all that shit up there, you know? I was
It's too
like,
much, man.
I was so depressed and annoyed with Canada and North America. I was just like, man, if I'm going to be here, I might as well just die. Like, this is just fucked, you know? Like,
right.
What was up with
It-
Canada?
yeah, like Canada's fucked up too, man. Like it's no different than the United States. We're just on your tit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
we're so hard on the American tit, and then you get somebody who doesn't give a shit, like pay me to be on our tit. You know?
Yeah. Damn,
Yeah.
see, because like down here, you think Canada was
Yeah,
a
Canada.
dope ass place.
Fucking
What?
Canada legalizes and it puts 45 new laws on the books for you to go to jail using cannabis.
What?
Oh yeah,
That's
you don't
not
hear about it like that.
legalization. It's fucking illegalization 2.0.
That's
How the-
crazy.
They
That's a good
doubled
way to
down
put
on
it.
the bullshit, turned it into a stock scam, and the two biggest companies crashed. And they sucked
Wow.
up 80% of all the investment capital in the world for the cannabis industry.
Wow.
And it turned out just to be a scam. I mean, Canopy is a fucking joke, right?
Yeah.
Damn.
Jesus. See, I ain't.
See, dropping facts that
Like,
we do not
don't
know right
this
here.
shit, bro.
Yeah.
Like, that's how you know America keeps America to itself. It's like, oh, nobody needs to know about that. Let's
Yeah.
keep that on the
We're very they try to let us know what we can hear. Like,
Like,
they don't try to do anything like
This
that.
lady likes some ice cream. That's
Yeah.
That's what you.
Yeah.
she
There
licked
was
that. That she,
Then she dropped it. It was terrible. We're gonna have this again at 10 o'clock.
We're gonna talk about this for the next 3 days, and we're back.
All right.
But for real, Paul, man, that's why we do our show, man. Because like we don't. It's called FNBS for a reason. Because we don't want to talk about all that shit.
Yeah.
Because when you think podcast, who you think of, Special K? You think podcast?
Bill Burr. I think Bill Burr's
Okay, well that's dope though. That's dope. But most motherfuckers would think Joe Rogan, of course. And it's like,
I know, but that's why I think Bill Burr. I like to think what everybody else
Bill
thinks.
Burr's fucking dope. But like, we try to like stay
I think that Chris dude's funny too.
in a different
guy who
lane.
did Eminem.
Who's that? Oh yeah,
Chris
he's dope.
D'Elia, or I
He's dope.
don't know his name, but him.
But we try to do our show to where we ain't got to talk about none of that bullshit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, and it's good to meet people like you that can just, like, you literally been talking about paradise. I feel like we've been in the song of Kuna Matata this whole time. Like, you know what I mean? Like, Timon, Pumbaa, and Simba, we just been fucking walking through the forest this whole time singing. Like, that's dope. You know what I mean?
Dude, I feel weed. In my whole opinion, like growing up and being told it's terrible, I've always just thought I feel like this could just make the whole world come together.
Yep.
So I've always looked at a weed.
Simple shit. Guys, I want to get into one more weed myth. Okay, we're counting down. This is number 7 out of 8. All right.
We skipped 6.
No. The first one was 8. Now we on 7.
Oh, okay.
Aliens are trying to steal our weed. Do you believe this?
Aliens are?
Yep, that's one of the
We
myths.
could have good weed. I don't know.
This is courtesy of High Times.
I don't know.
Yeah, I want to hear some opinions on this. Shit.
I think we would be trying to buy weed from aliens.
I kind of agree on this. Now, like,
Obviously.
I
They
imagine a
probably
nice
have
even
some
weed
fucking
airport
insane
having.
extract or some shit, right?
Yeah.
And
Like,
yet-
literally just
From
touch it
Nebula
just
Star
look
632.
at it and it gets you
on
high.
your string.
Yeah.
This is that Nebula Star Skunk 632
Yeah.
here. Like, you just touch it to your
It's
fucking
got
skin.
dark matter in it. Like,
Right, bro. Put it in your armpit.
yeah, just be something crazy.
This extract can make you transform into any animal.
Rub it on
of
your left
liking.
toe.
Like, what the fuck?
Stuff a bud in your armpit?
No, stick a little dab of wax on your armpit. That's the type of shit they probably got.
There's like it has just some weird chemically way of doing something.
3-day high, you know. But
Patch.
this says here that maybe aliens are responsible for the construction of the Sphinx or the Great Pyramid, but there may be bigger weed conspiracies around Martians and marijuana. Okay? And this bullshit says that some people think that recent UFO sightings are kept quiet by government because they're extraterrestrial missions to steal the Earth's weed for their own purposes. This is hilarious.
Damn, that's some good weed. People are
Listen-
right as fuck,
Listen
huh?
to this though. Listen. This
Now
says
aliens are
this
stealing the
says
weed.
this says joint
Fire.
joint-shaped vessels have been spotted orbiting the night skies, swooping low enough to be visible to the most paranoid human eyes. Joint-shaped vessels, guys.
Joint shaped.
Chase down and smoke that motherfucker.
It'd be like, that's not blunt shaped.
That's raw bone shaped. What is this? That's ridiculous. I don't understand. Anyway, Special K, I know you got some more in your rundown on your
Oh,
question.
no, nothing too much. Fuck. Nope, I don't got any more.
You don't got any more? All right. Number 6 on the countdown of the cannabis conspiracies is the cannabis candy conspiracy. And I didn't read this one, but I'm gonna give you a little brief overview of it.
I like Joe Rogan's bit on edibles that he does on that video where he's doing the show in San Francisco.
Yeah. I don't know if I
Okay,
see
yeah,
it.
give a little. What is it like? Or part of the
El
joke.
Diablo.
El Diablo. I don't know if I seen that one. If
I might have. I know if I see a scene from it, like I'll instantly remember it.
I know if I have, it's probably like long gone.
I feel like I've been through. I had a Joe Rogan high period where I watched all his like stand up and stuff, and it was pretty entertaining shit.
But the big
I liked
cannabis,
it.
the cannabis candy conspiracy is just some more mild garbage saying that, the news and media are trying to scare parents with the whole edible candies getting to schools, and literally trying to like keep kids from eating candy and bringing candy to school because they're scared of kids bringing weed candy to school. Now I bring that up. Me and Kay did a show in our first season, and
Weed candy, yeah.
it was a little girl that brought weed Cheetos to school that her parents had because they got high and passed out, and she took the Cheetos to school and shared them with her friends. Now, I feel like that doesn't happen all the time, but
I feel like that doesn't happen ever.
yeah, but
It just sounds baffling.
it's not enough to be a goddamn conspiracy. Moving on. God
Right?
damn.
We'll skip past that one. Talk about how that was awkward and go next.
Oh shit, white people. The neo-Nazis and Nation of Islam believe Jews want everyone high. So this pretty much says that white supremacy is blaming the Jews for weed because they want everybody to be high. But why? What
That picture looks so goofy.
This is the worst picture ever. Paul, wish we had video, bro.
Dude, this
my
is the
God.
worst
You
picture.
should see this. And this is courtesy of High Times. I love this shit. What was this, number 5? Packing the bowl makes your package shrink. Now, that's been debunked. That's
Wait,
been debunked
what?
for years.
What does that mean?
That means you smoke weed, your ding ding don't work.
Oh, okay. Man, I was just thinking of the bowl like getting smaller.
Like,
Damn.
what do you mean?
Yeah, I was so confused right there.
That's
Nope, yeah.
well, that's been debunked. I got 3 kids. Paul, you got 2 girlfriends. Special K, we know what you
mine
do.
works. I don't need Viagra.
Yeah. You're not even recreationally, not even for funsies.
No,
Funsies.
No, I use something else. I use L-arginine.
What the hell is? Oh, is that the shit that's in like some of the workout stuff too?
That's right. Yeah, it's the
Yeah.
most important amino acid for sexual male function, and you get
L-arginine.
about 2 grams of it in you a day.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Punish a girl with dick.
The more
Girls
you know,
go,
ladies and gentlemen.
"What's with that dick?"
Ladies and gentlemen, get you some L-arginine and punish
Get
that girl with
yourself
that
some
dick.
L-arginine and get a gram of that shit in you a day.
You're good to go.
Go to GNC and tell them Paul Hartman sent you, you sons of
That's
bitches.
right. They should give me a truckload of it for telling
Right.
me.
Would you have an aisle or just trucks of these? Like,
Like, where's the L-arginine? All right, it's my anniversary is tomorrow. I like this one, guys. Another conspiracy. Jesus Christ blazed up. And I don't even want to read this. I'm gonna say yes.
I assume everyone
Yep,
blazes
he
up.
did.
Sure, he would be smoking some charas,
Yeah, he's
laying around in his hemp clothing.
Oh, hell yeah, bro. You know those sandals and that robe was made out of hemp, dog.
Yeah,
That was the best hemp shit. He had a great tailor.
he'd be lighting
Them
that
hemp
fat
threads.
blunt with a hemp wick.
Hemp wick.
everything him, dude. It's probably real too. Everything was probably him.
People are all like, hemp wicks are cool. Jesus invented that.
He had a hemp wick on the robe. Like, light it up, brother. Have you guys been seeing the those new like super microscopic HD videos of like weed burning and shit?
Oh,
It's like
yeah,
all-
I've got
it's all over the
I've
internet.
got 2 Celestron microscopes that hook up to my laptop. I fucking look at everything under it.
Bro, those are dope. I'm gonna show you some. They got a lot of them on Instagram, bro. It's like it'll be like a bowl. And
Well, it's like up close
packet
burning?
with weed and like put some wax on top of that and then some keef. Like it'll be a sexy pack.
Ooh.
And then they just bring the hemp wick over and like burn it, but in slow motion. It's pleasing.
That sounds. Yeah, it sounds very
It's
pleasing.
fucking pleasing. To the eye, bro. This came off. How long
Oh.
was it that way? Anyway, the next one is something I don't really like to talk about. Big Pharma helps keep weed illegal. Obviously,
Yeah,
that's obvious.
that's just logic.
We're just gonna go behind that because it's a cure-all, man. It's a cure-all. Like, what else do you need?
Think about like aspirin. People aren't buying it anymore.
Nah, bro. I went to
Unless they're
Walgreens
taking it
last
for
week.
Their heart.
You know, I went to Walgreens last week and I realized that I know the CBD is everywhere, but I didn't realize it's got a fucking nice section in the aisles in Walgreens now.
Yeah, it's in Walgreens. Yeah, I was just there and saw that too.
Like what? Lotion,
I think it's
like-
at Kroger too.
CBD swabs and shit. I'm like, all right. Like it's
Yeah.
almost overkill.
There are we have a video store, like a Blockbuster type situation,
Yeah, family
and
video.
this thing
Shout out Family
has
Video.
everything in, like, every sign for it is just CBD everything.
Yeah,
They don't have
Yeah.
movie signs or shit. It's just CBD
the
signs.
biggest sign on the window is green
Yeah.
and what? Green and white. CBD sold here.
Yeah, like
Jeez, huh?
That's keeping that fucking It's
They're
keeping
just-
the goddamn business open.
That's how excited Kentucky is just for anything we get.
Huh.
We're like, holy shit!
That's how it goes. I think I'm gonna do this one last because these are just other ones are funny and these are just got I don't like the connotation. Hemp and the racist U.S. government. And
What does
this
that mean?
Says,
Blah, 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 blah.
narcotics began telling lies in the 1920s about weed, saying that it would cause people who smoked it to go into a violent rage. Now, that is the biggest stretch of truth I've ever heard of anything. I have no.
Oh, okay, I get
They
this.
proved that wrong in California.
Yeah.
After 15 years of the medical marijuana law being in place,
Yeah.
in statistics, in the state, they saw this phenomenal change. It was a 48% reduction in spousal abuse,
Right?
The fuck I'm talking
a 45% reduction in violent crimes involving handguns.
Oh hell yeah.
And it was like the only thing they could contribute it to was the medical legalization, the
Obviously.
availability of cannabis. That was it.
Yeah, bro. Like I've never seen anybody smoke a joint and be like, oh, I'm about to fuck some shit up right now. Like it don't happen, man. You don't.
I've seen that oppositely played. Someone's like, I'm gonna fuck some shit up, and they take a hit, and they're like, oh, was I even mad? Why
Yeah.
was I mad? I was mad, wasn't I?
I'm sorry, dog. I'm sorry, man. What we
Didn't mean to
doing?
get mad right there, guys.
Y'all want some chips?
Oh, it's my hit again. Nice.
But he said he condemned pot as a dangerous substance, even though 29 scientists he interviewed on the subject disagreed. So he had that power and pull,
Got the power.
So the U.S. then issued the Marijuana Tax Act 1937. We all know about that, making cannabis hemp illegal. And this legal decree held racist consequences. This is where we get into the racism. I don't know how this is gonna play out. Let's see, because how does this happen?
Added the word racist.
The enactment allowed for authorities to target people of color who use weed. This change in law could be one of the many reasons for the prison industrial complex today. Conspiracy, maybe. But perhaps it's the cloud hanging over the U.S. keeping the nation in the dark ages of marijuana. Now, reading that, I think we can all fairly say that those days are long gone besides like a few places. Because where is it, like Kansas? If you get caught with weed, it's still like 20-year sentence or some shit. Like
I
if you
have no
get caught
idea.
with anything.
Wow.
Like it's like RICO'd out there.
Yeah.
I don't know anything about Kansas like at all.
So like I only know because when Colorado, they right next to each other. So some people would go through Kansas to get to Colorado and
then
when
try to go
when it
back
first
out?
got legal, yeah, and try to go back out. And
Damn.
people learn from that real fast.
Like, stay the fuck away from Kansas.
Yeah. But literally here, bro, it's only been maybe 5 years to where they wouldn't arrest you for weed here still. So we just now kind of catching up. But all around us, like what Chicago did is amazing.
What?
You know about Chicago legalization?
Uh-uh.
Paul, did you hear about that?
I did hear something about it. So what's going on with that?
It's legal, but they're the first state to do it where the politicians themselves did it. Like they didn't vote and shit. They did it. They established it and made the law. Like
No one had voted. They just made it.
They didn't have
That's
to
awesome.
That's dope. Like, and you think
how did they do that?
I don't know. I didn't read like the process of it, but I read the first two paragraphs that said they're the first state to do it, and they named a few politicians that started it, and they just rolled it and rolled it and rolled it. And that's how it happened.
that's what needs to happen. They need to just give up all this fucking bullshit, you know?
Mm-hmm.
It's like they're all just such profiteers, and I mean, in Canada, it was so hideous what happened when it first happened under Harper, right?
Yeah.
And Harper,
Fighter.
they immediately turned it into a way to line the pockets of their cronies, right? So the first licenses went to cops and military guys and former members of parliament and all this shit, right?
Yeah.
And then when the Liberals got in and Trudeau legalized it, he makes the head cop of the province of Ontario the guy who's in charge of implementing the plan for legalization.
Yeah.
And that guy was given a license, which he sold without growing a gram of weed for $48 million.
Damn.
48 million.
That's a lot of fucking money, dude.
How it was played, right? It was
Yeah.
all a scam for them to line their pockets and squeeze out the people who built the industry in Canada and just generally be fucking prohibitionist assholes, right?
I just think about all the times that I've wanted to go to Canada because it was, you know what I'm saying, for
Just 'cause it was
weed.
legal? Oh.
Yeah, and I'm glad I didn't make the trip.
It was better before legalization.
I was gonna say I went there before they had it legal,
Oh,
and it was a
yeah.
nice time.
Yeah, yeah.
Legalization had 48 dispensaries.
Damn.
And then there's reservations there that, like, there's the Ticonderoga in they're Mohawks in Ontario, and you go to their reservation and like they got billboards. It's like Las Vegas of weed in Canada. It's
That's
fucking
pretty neat. That's
You
fucking cool.
play-
Yeah,
That's
Just
dope.
weed.
I'm down with that shit.
Speaking of Las Vegas, I heard they like are one of the premier places right now for like dispensaries and shit.
Yeah, they seem to have a pretty good plan, and that seems to be what Colorado is doing. Seems pretty cool.
I need to go to one of these fucking places. We need to go, bro.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, Colorado seems to be down with everything.
When I was in California last, they hadn't opened a lot of dispensaries yet. It was
Oh,
still
okay.
a new.
Okay.
Well, okay, so that's new shit. I don't think Ohio has any, or do they?
Well, yeah, Ohio's got some. Like, so he probably left. California's got a ton now.
Yeah, shit ton now. But you left what around the 70s?
No, I left in 2005.
Oh shit.
Oh, because Chill's father's with you.
Yeah, that was early wave shit. That's when like they were still getting busted every now and again. Like they were allowed to be open, but they was still getting like
Oh, stuff was going wrong.
they was like hitting them with hard taxes and still like shutting down dispensaries every other day and shit.
Mm.
You know what I mean? So everybody was scared to do it. But now we gotta do
And
it.
now there's probably one like on every block.
Hell yeah, guaranteed.
I'm sure. Yeah, it's probably like CVS.
Yeah.
CVS or a Walgreens.
What was I tell you? But you said Ohio has them?
Yeah, Ohio has them. There's a
Mhm.
bunch by us. Like if we were there, we're probably like 10 minutes away from one.
We need to go.
Like no shit.
Oh, you got your card? No. Can we just look around? Just window shopping? No.
Yeah, no. I'm thinking about moving to Ohio, and I just want to know. Like,
Hell yeah, bro. But Paul, we're gonna wrap it up here in a minute, man. But I do want to ask you, Special K, don't have any more questions, dog?
oh, I got some fun little things.
All right. Well, hold on, save it for the end, dog. Save it for the end. I have one more question.
Okay.
What's
in
up?
your ventures right now with the bud, everything you're doing, what's your plan or do you have a plan to come up with like a super strain while you're down there?
Well,
Are
I have.
you working on a
a
top
few
secret?
strains I've been working on, and I just started some of them because I picked them last season, and friends of mine in Canada are growing them, and they said, "Have you started any of these yet? You better fucking start some."
Yeah.
So I have a strain called White Lemon Bay Dream.
Ooh.
Oh,
And then
I like
have
that
White
name.
Lemon OG Kush. Which is a cross
White lemon.
of Lemon Shark, White Widow, and Tahoe OG. And it is dynamic. I'm very excited about this cross. And
I would be excited about that too.
I've never heard or had
Just
lemon
thinking about
shark.
crossing weed just sounds so fun to me.
White Widow is my favorite strain. But I've
yeah,
never,
White Widow is like
Lemon
the most
Shark?
popular strain on the planet or something, right?
I mean, I thought it was Blue Dream. Everybody loves Blue Dream.
I love blue.
Or
Dream.
Girl
See,
Scout cookie.
That's where the Bay Dream is. King Clone has a plant called Bay 11, which won a Cannabis Cup in San Francisco.
We gotta go.
And then they have a cross
Got to.
of Blue Dream, which is Bay Dream.
Yeah,
And
I've had
crossed
Bay
the
Dream.
Bay Dream with the Lemon Shark White Widow cross that a
These
friend of mine in
words.
New York made.
Lemon Shark.
And
This
it
is like if this
turned
weed
out
and this weed had a
fucking
baby,
insane.
and this weed had a baby.
Yeah, that's nice, bro.
Yeah, it'll be a big plant. And then I have a bunch of different crosses of it. I have OG crossed SK1 and a bunch of African sativas that I have that are real rare.
Ooh, like some Durban poison.
I have some real Durban. I have some Swaziland. I have some South Africa Black. I have
I can smell it.
a few other ones. And then I'm making a trip to Mexico soon to go hunting real Oaxaca landrace, because that was where I did my first big outdoor grows, was in Oaxaca.
Oaxaca.
See, you live in a whole nother level of weed life, man. That's what
Yeah,
I want
no.
to get to, bro.
That sounds amazing.
Well, people ask me, what's the biggest grow you've ever done, and I say 50 hectares. And they just look at me and they go, what? 100 acres?
Pardon?
100 acres, yeah.
They go, no
Pardon.
way.
Hell yeah. I had that look on my face too, like, oh shit, what? 100 acres, that's a lot of fucking weed though, man.
I'm
so
growing
much
more
weed.
in one grow than most people grow in their whole life.
Yeah, I mean 100 acres, dog. I'm not
Nice.
leaving.
Yeah, I'm good.
Shit.
I'm gonna run through the fields.
Yeah, it does make you want to get naked or something.
This weed all over me. I couldn't touch it though, man. Lately, like the weed, if I touch my face after grinding up some weed, it fucking like gives me like little heavy bumps on my face. It's terrible.
Oh yeah, I can't
I'm not
trim
getting allergic.
anymore. I break out in rashes all over.
You can't what?
I can't trim bud anymore.
Oh, yeah.
I
See, it should
break
happen to
out
me
in a
too, bro.
rash all over my arms.
Huh? That should be happening to me, bro. Like I go to
Yeah.
Boom.
It's as good an excuse as any to not have to
Nails.
trim.
Yeah, bro. Like and no auto trimming. FNBS, Havel J, Special K, special guest Paul Hartman. We gonna wrap it up. Special K got some fun. What you got, K? What you got over there?
I just got one thing. Like, if you could fill in the blank, like, say the Rice Krispies got, like, fancy and added something. Like, snap, crackle, pop, and what?
Oh,
You know?
snap.
Like, snap, crackle, pop, and snap.
Gazunga.
Yeah.
What would be the gazunga? What would be it? What would be that? I
That's
like
It'd be
a
that.
marshmallows.
very
So,
large joint.
This is a bit,
joint pieces?
like
little
big,
weed
big
chunks.
edible
It's kinda
chunks.
like a cross of Godzilla and Zonga. Whatever that
That's
is.
dope.
That would be the dopest cereal.
That'd be the best.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, them bitches
It
be
does
like
sound like a good cereal, doesn't it?
$150 a box.
Breakfast Gazunga.
Yeah. Oh.
$150 a box, candy coated
CBD
weed
infused
nugs.
breakfast cereal.
Damn, that's delicious, man. What else you got, Special K? That was fun. I like that one.
Would you rather have, like, you know, Willy Wonka when he went to the factory and goes everywhere in the elevator, up, down, left, right?
Yeah.
Would you rather have one of those, or would you rather have a bat cave from, like, Batman?
Fuck, I've got chocolate issues, so I guess I'm going with Wonka.
All right.
I,
Yeah, I'm going with Wonka
he
too.
know I'm gonna say
Of
Bat
course
Cave.
it'll be infused.
It's Bat Cave. Yo, with the infused chocolate Wonka house.
That'd be so
Chocolate
great.
Wonka house.
Have
Yeah.
you
A
seen-
weed chocolate fountain.
Have you seen the episode of American Dad, Paul? Have you watched American Dad? Do you watch that type shit?
I did watch American Dad, but I haven't watched real TV since December.
They did a Willy Wonka weed episode on there, and it was
was
pretty
Snoop.
well, yeah.
Yeah.
And like Snoop Dogg was Willy Wonka. It was a pretty neat little thing they did.
Hey, you would have loved that shit, especially after what you just said. That was like right
Yeah.
on the fucking money.
It
You know
was
what I'm saying?
perfect.
Speaking of that,
I'll try to find that on the net and check it out.
speaking of that though, have you kept up with like I said, we movie heads, man. Have you kept up with any of the Marvel shit going on? Are you into that shit?
And you know what? I haven't, and I'm real bad that way. Although some friends of mine here worked on the James Bond movie,
That's dope.
and you know, there's a lot of cool film shit going on here on the island, man. It's like there is a film scene here, which is pretty neat. Because
I can see people do that.
Yeah.
and
Hell yeah.
And a couple of the guys that work here are filmmakers, so it's pretty neat. I mean, and then you throw in the history of Ian Fleming and Errol Flynn. You know, it's like that whole thing about the raft rides down the rivers.
Yeah.
Errol Flynn started that whole thing.
Yeah.
They used to just bring sugar cane down that way, right? It was a way, and then him and his friends would get dressed up and they would put like big chandeliers and shit with candles on these things and race each other down the river.
What
Hey.
the fuck?
Dressed up formally.
That's that weed.
Is that weed?
That's the weed.
Yeah. I wonder if they had weed then.
Goddamn chandelier races going, man. Fuck what y'all talking about? Let's do
That's
this.
more like acid and mushrooms to me, but
Yeah, real shit, man. No, but I was just asking about the movie shit because I always ask everybody if they caught up with their Marvel shit. I probably just need to get over it. I got a problem.
Yeah, I haven't caught up
I
with it.
still want to
MJ
see the
hates
new
me.
John Wick.
Right, I want to see the new John Wick too. That looks
right
so
there with
good.
Seen everything else in the theater,
He
man.
kills shit too. The other two John Wicks, like the
Think-
first
think
one,
of-
he killed the dog, and the guy did that awesome shit. Like that was a great thing to be like.
Then it was the car in the second one, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. You think they'll keep going? I ain't seen the third one. I can't really
Yeah.
ask that on
But
time.
I'm sure-
Halle Berry's in this one, isn't she?
I don't know,
Is
bro.
she? I don't
we
know.
haven't seen it either.
Yeah, I saw a clip of her rehearsing her gun scenes.
Yeah.
She's badass, man. Holy
Uh-huh.
shit.
Hey, speaking of badass gun scenes, you ever saw seen Into the Badlands?
Yes.
Yeah, okay, hell yeah. Yeah, you good then.
All right.
That's
Yeah.
all that really matters, man. Like, you've seen that.
Those scenes are on YouTube too, like just the fight scenes from that
Yeah,
stuff. That's what's
shit's
crazy.
fire. What else?
Yeah,
What
yeah.
else been dope? It's a lot of dope shit out, man. But if you caught that, I feel like
You probably seen some of it, yeah.
like you ain't missing nothing else out there. It's a bunch of other good shit, but that shit is fire. And I can't
Yeah.
figure out what time frame. That's the most confusing thing about that show. I cannot figure out what time frame it's supposed to be.
I don't know. I never even thought about it. I'm just like into the story.
I think about it every time, and that's why when I listen to the story, it's like it could be now, before, or future.
It's like a different dimension to me.
It's
It just
dope.
sounds cool.
It's fucking dope. But I was just curious, man.
All right. Do you ever see the movie Elysium?
Hell yeah. Yep.
All right. I'm going to tell you a story. You know the machine?
Yeah.
It exists today.
Oh yeah. How? Where? Not in America.
Canada. And how I know is because I got to use it.
What do you
I was
mean?
in a 3-year-long post-patent study on this device that harmonizes your atoms, and I got into it because I had prostate cancer and I was using cannabis oil, and I met the inventor of it, and she said, "Oh, I want you in my post-patent study so I can see the synergistic effects between cannabis oil and my device."
That's scary.
So I was in this thing for 3 years, and in 150 hours, I was cancer-free. I had a
You said 150 hours?
A 30-year-long kidney issue vanish.
What?
Liver spots disappeared. My liver started to regenerate.
Wow.
All kinds of stuff. I mean, it was fascinating. And now I wish I had one because it's been 3 years since I've been on it.
Oh, and so
Talk about it later.
so it's pretty much a machine heals your fucking body. Like you get like features you get in it.
Yeah, what it does is it's like,
Releases your
imagine
bad
it, look
toxins?
at it like this way.
He said
It
150 hours, his cancer was gone,
restores you
liver
back
spots
to your
gone,
original
30-year kidney
blueprint.
disease gone.
It's
Yeah.
almost like resetting a computer, right?
Yeah.
And
All right, so-
once you reset it, it peels you like an onion. It takes the history of your illnesses out of your body, and it actually pulls them to the surface. You experience the illness for a few minutes, sometimes a day, and then it
Yeah.
vanishes. Like when I hit my inoculation layers from when I was a kid, all those things are built into a memory system in your body. So when I got my smallpox, when I hit my smallpox layer, my arm hurt really bad. I was like, what the fuck? And the doctor goes, hurt where you got your smallpox shot? And I said, yeah. And she goes, get on the Vega tester. I got on the Vega tester, and she was like, yep, your smallpox layer just hit you. And it took
That's
till the
crazy.
day for it to disappear, and then it was just gone.
So it just
Yeah.
it just takes your body in reverse.
Yeah. And the other thing that happens, what the machine does is it generates something called a torus field. And you're made of 27 trillion toruses. That's what atoms are, right?
Yeah.
So
Weed science? Not really
yeah,
weed science.
this frequency that this machine creates throws off an 18-foot in diameter synthetic torus that you sit inside the field of. And about 6 or 8 people can sit inside it. So there would be 8 people sitting around this machine while it was humming, right?
Yeah.
And you would experience all kinds of things. I mean, when you were in a healing cycle, it would knock you out. You'd just like sit down next to it and you'd go right to sleep for 6 hours, right? And stuff like that, you know, and no virus, no pathogen, no bacteria, nothing that is harmful to a living genome can exist inside the field. But anything that is beneficial to a living organism is enhanced. And things like, say you had a streptococcus infection, right? There's 280 kinds of streptococcus, right?
Like strepto or something like that?
You can't live without some of them will kill you, right?
Yeah.
So if you have one that's pathogenic that'll hurt you, it'll often turn it into a harmless version of itself. Things like that. Been studied at Laurentian University in Canada for about the last 10 years.
So it literally just the goddamn healing chamber.
Yeah, well, the idea is that every household would have one, and you sleep next to it, right?
Yeah.
And you get all your hours in at night because it's an accumulative effect, right? And by time I ended, I had 10,000 hours. My hair was, my gray was going away. My hair was getting dark. All kinds of stuff like that.
Wow.
It was crazy.
Bro, that's crazy, dog. All right.
And we're not that far away from having those in every home in the world. You're like, it changes what you know about medicine completely, right? You go,
There's so many questions.
everything I thought about health was wrong.
Wait a minute. So, all right. Did you get to do that by like being part of a study or something?
Yeah. It was
Now,
a post-patent study.
Can you actually like go to do it?
I listen to sounds a lot, I feel like.
You can,
Just for
you can go
healing.
to a clinic in a place called Thornbury, Ontario.
And how much does that cost? That's what I'm getting, is a bunch of fucking money.
$150 for the first test and $15 an hour.
And you said you did 10,000 hours.
I did 10,000 hours in 3 years.
Do they like do an exam on you and be like, all right, you need
They
so you got
tested
this.
me 3 times a day on something called a Vega tester.
heard of a
In
Vega
this
tester.
kind of
What the fuck
medicine is called bioenergetic medicine. It's a German thing, right? And this doctor, she studied in Germany and came to Canada, right? It is based on physics instead of chemistry, right? So every illness has a frequency that is measurable. Every medicine has a frequency that can be measured. Every pathogen, every pollutant, you name it, right?
Yeah.
And you are hooked up to a Vega machine. They can run through your whole system and see what is causing your problems, right? It's causal diagnosis as opposed to symptomatic diagnosis.
Right. So it's like finding a problem and attacking just a problem instead of like going through this medicine to see this medicine.
See, like when you're on the machine, you take a medicine you're taking and you put it on the machine and it'll tell you whether it works. So you can even, like with cannabis, we could figure out a specific dose and even an exact cannabinoid profile to give somebody, right?
Yeah.
Wow.
That's dope.
Testing has been around for almost 50 years. Right.
You need this much.
Bro, why don't people know about this?
Because it's not mainstream stuff. It's considered alternative medicine, right?
Yeah.
But in Europe, it's not. It's normal, right? And the German who invented Vega testing, like the machine in Elysium is 2 machines. It's a Vega tester and the Mars system, which is magnetic air resonance system, right? That blended together, right? So she just happened to discover that she liked Vega testing and met the guy who invented it and studied with him until he died. And then she came back to North America and continued her work on developing the machine, which took about 35 years, right?
Yeah.
Originally,
Jesus.
she developed it to purified food and water. And so when you're in the study, everything that goes on you or in you is treated by the frequency. And you have these little discs that you can charge up with the frequency and you take them with you. And you put it on a glass of water and it cleans it in 2 seconds. or you put it on a plate of food, right? And it cleans it. So you're constantly reaffirming the not repolluting yourself. Everything is contaminated with superbugs around you. Everything you buy in the grocery store, and superbugs are the things that are causing all these huge epidemics of cancer and Parkinson's and Alzheimer's and you name it, heart disease, can all be traced back to a superbug infection. More cancers are caused by viruses now than ever before. True cancers are actually very rare. True cancers are 2%, right? Everything else is stimulated by some pollutant.
You're a goddamn scientist, Paul.
I've been seeing some shit when I got cancer, man. I learned everything. I did my due diligence, you know?
Yeah, you got some shit.
Without research.
Yeah,
I
shit.
got diagnosed. 8 of my friends got diagnosed, right?
Damn.
And one of them was my business partner. Her first chemo treatment killed her. They don't tell you that happens to 2%.
Right. That's scary
All
as
right.
fuck.
The thing they don't tell you is that every chemotherapy has a secondary cancer it causes.
Right.
So
That's crazy.
So I'm scared of hospitals, bro.
8 of my friends get diagnosed with cancer. One of them, a client who he didn't last a year. And I'm the only one now, 6 years later, still alive. Everybody was dead within 2 years. They all picked standard treatment. One friend of mine had a spot on his lung, had been a cigarette smoker, went in, had it removed. They got it all. He opted for what he called preventative chemotherapy, not taking into account that his father, mother, and sister all died of liver cancer. And what did they give him? The chemotherapy that causes liver cancer.
Fuck.
He was done in 6 months.
That's ugly.
I was like, you know what? I'm not going that way. So I get
Hey, bro,
my
I think I'm about to.
Canada,
I think I'm gonna have to share this
what are you
fucking
gonna
machine
do?
and share
Here's
that
your
shit.
5 shit sandwiches. Which one you gonna pick?
Yeah.
And I go, well, it's not outside my prostate, so I'm not going to do anything. I'm going to do diet and all the other natural things I'm doing. And then I didn't tell him I was going to do cannabis oil. And then when I got back to Ontario in the spring, I started in on a cannabis oil treatment, and then I got into that study, and boom, it was all over in 150 hours. It was crazy. Like in 6 weeks.
Eating good. And shit,
That's insane. And the regeneration chamber is what I'm gonna call it.
I changed so much. If you look at, there's pictures on my Facebook page, and I'm at one of me at the Canadian Comedy Awards. And I'm like, I got all the way down to the weight I was in high school. I
seen you in an interview when you were skinnier.
Yeah.
I saw that shit.
It was crazy. Like my changed so much, people didn't recognize me.
Yeah. Yeah. Like if you look at your picture on here now, that's a healthy you.
Yeah, and I actually don't look good right now. I'm actually very unhealthy.
Yeah, I mean, I'm talking about like your little Skype profile picture. That's a healthy you all day. Look healthy. You look healthy in that picture anyway.
The Skype picture. Which one? Let me see what's up there.
But hell yeah. We just discovered a lot of shit that we didn't know. China control over Jamaica. What was the other thing, man? What's something else?
Everything. We learned about Jamaica.
The whole fucking totally different. We learned that Canada's fucking not what we thought it was. Goddamn. We also got reconfirmed that Cali has the best weed.
Was like a weed
Cali has
lesson.
the best weed. We learned about the regeneration chamber, and the nerd in me can't help but to think about like some Dragon Ball Z shit. You think about the Elysium shit. It's like jump in that bitch and just get better. You know what I mean? Like some Goku shit. And,
the crazy thing is that our parents and our family members will live so much longer when these things get in people's hands, and I'm sure they'll prevent it. I mean, it's already.
Yeah, they're gonna block the fuck
Frank
out that
Clegg
shit.
was the first guy to invest in it, and he was the owner of Microsoft Canada, right?
Yeah.
And the Canadian government put in a couple of $100,000. And then there was a couple of other groups of investors, and every time they'd try to steal it from her, right?
Yeah.
and it would end up in a lawsuit and patent infringement and this and that. And she's in one right now. It's like the 4th time. It's cost her millions of dollars. She just wants to sell the fucking patent and be done with it, right?
Yeah, it's like everybody trying to get you one now. Goddamn it.
Yeah.
Eventually they're gonna crush
for
it.
sure. And it's amazing technology, you know.
I'm gonna look into
the
it.
amazing thing was the number of people working on the same concept would show up. Like we had guys from Magellan Aerospace and physics departments in Helsinki showing up, and
like big boy
they
engineers.
would come in talking to her about physics, and she would explain to him how they would explain their problem, how they were trying to do the same thing she was doing, and then they would see how she did it, and they'd go, "Oh my fucking God."
Yeah.
She had it was such a dumb moment for some of them, because everybody tries to do it using electrical current, right, or sound to create these frequencies. She did it by creating magnetic patterns and motion, right?
Yeah.
Simply by creating these cylinders that had specific. She had to reinvent how to make magnets. That was the other thing. The magnets that she used are super specialized. One company in the world makes them for her. And instead of having 2 poles, they have 4 poles. They have 2 norths and 2 souths. And very unique.
Very interesting.
And they're arranged in a specific geometric pattern, which
Like
she created. She was a child. She said she started drawing this pattern. It was like drawing crop circles, right?
Yeah.
She started drawing this when she was a little girl, and she didn't know what it was, and she kept drawing it and drawing it. And then some things started to click, and she created these magnets. And then she built a bunch of prototype machines. Like I got so into it that I learned how to fix all the prototypes and how they were made. And I was like a repairman for them.
So she pretty much just like invent this out of her,
like memory,
like out of her fucking.
And she made the first one.
Like out of just have her imagination and knowing how to engineer shit.
No, she wasn't an engineer. She was a medical doctor kind of thing, right?
Like Tesla shit.
Yeah.
He would just think of the stuff ahead of time.
Yeah, and just make it happen.
That was her study, was all the sacred geometry, all that stuff, right? And math and frequencies, right? And how you could create frequencies and how you can manipulate them and what they do, right? The interesting thing is she's like in her 60s, and she went and had her telomere testing done. Like she's been using this thing for 35 years, right? Yeah. And her telomeres test at 25 years old.
Damn.
So
wow,
that's crazy.
Telomeres. What's telomeres? Break that down. And we're gonna wrap it up, but I know what you're saying, but I want to know exactly.
Material that they can extract that reveal your true age.
Oh, that's insane. So 60-year-old woman reading at 25? I need to give him one of these.
Yeah, instantly.
On it all his life, right? And I can't imagine what he tests out. It must be interesting.
That's crazy. Well, Paul, look, it's been insightful as fuck.
Right.
And
it's been great.
I have to say that we didn't even get into the Hollywood side of you, and we're going to have you back to get into that. Because...
Anytime,
that was a lot.
Give me a call, I'll come back and we chat some more.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Up,
hell
yeah.
Yeah.
Smoke sesh.
Special K and Jason here.
Yeah. Hey, Hateful J, just call me Hateful J, man. I ain't hateful at all. It's a joke, you know what I'm saying? It's a little irony. But yeah, man, we love it. Hopefully next time we can get the video popping, man.
Yeah, I'll get it. I've had my microscope hooked up so my camera's shut off and I can never figure out how to turn the frickin' thing back on.
You got a fucking microscope though, dog.
All right,
like,
microscope's dope. Yeah.
Everybody like, oh, I got my microscope plugged up, so you know, tough shit.
It's all good.
Like that's dope as fuck, man. You got a lab farm in paradise. Look, it was dope, man. Ladies and gentlemen, we gonna get the fuck out of here.
Happy I'll go one.
Paul Hartman has been our guest. He's been dope. Hateful J, Special K,
Special K,
and keep it blazed, as the man said. Live, laugh, love, roll light, smoke it, and we're gonna see y'all maybe again this week, cause we got another show tomorrow with another guest, and we out. Paul,
Peace.
Thanks for coming, dog.
All right, you guys, thanks for the hangout.
You know it. Be safe.
You too. Bless up.
Chief, right? vibing and chiefin'. Pour up some drink, yeah, roll up some weed. Throw on some good music, yeah, vibe out and cheat.